Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and welcome back to another video about SnowRunner. Now, in this video, we're going to be going over a couple of new vehicle presentations that you guys may have missed, as well as discussing a couple of little features that were discussed on the forums, as well as the fact that SnowRunner has officially now gone gold, which means the release build of the game is officially done. So, all of that in this video coming up. Now, before I get into the main topics of discussion in this video, I do want to let you guys know that the two vehicles I will be driving have been made by Frog, and then the map is the second Truck Night map, and it is by Smar19. Right, so let's get right into it. Now, the main topic of this video is the fact that SnowRunner has officially gone gold, and what that means is that there is a release build of the game that has been completed, and the game is now in the process of getting ready to ship. Now, this is a really cool step for a lot of us that have been really excited for this game and have really been waiting for it, because this means that they are to the point now where they basically put their stamp and seal of approval on the game and went, yup, it's done. So, hearing them say that and hearing them make that announcement, to me especially, it really gets me hyped up, because now it's just a matter of waiting. Now, there's no more like, well, they gotta finish this, they gotta finish that, it might take them a little while to finish this or that, or this or that, or this could get delayed. There's no more delays, there's no more, you know, waiting for this or waiting for that. The game is basically done, the game is basically ready. Now they just have to get it into people's hands, and that is the final step of pushing this game, and I, for one, could not be happier about the fact that we are in the final step now. We are in the final stretch of bringing SnowRunner to its audience. Also, quick little side note before we go much further, this is something that Jellyfish actually touched on the forums, because someone asked him if you would have to shut off your vehicle before switching to it, and he actually gave a very interesting answer, which was basically, one, you have to turn your engine off to switch vehicles, and two, through the functions menu, you can assign a dedicated key to turn the engine on and off. By default, it's V, which basically, it puts you into the normal advanced menu, but you can switch those functions up if you so desire to do that. So, long story short, it's pretty much the same exact advanced mode procedure that you get in MudRunner, but if anybody needed any clarification on how you would do that or how you would go about it, there it is. From there, we're going to be jumping into some of the newest vehicle presentations that you guys might have missed. Now, this is the Azov 73210. Obviously, that's its in-game name. It's based on a real-life truck. But this truck is one of the ones that we saw in the trailer, actually pulling a gooseneck with 3 smaller vehicles on it. So, it's obviously a heavy roll, and it's a diff lock and all-wheel drive, always-on truck. So, basically, this truck is always fully equipped to go wherever you need it to go. They also said in the presentation that this truck was normally focused on carrying a crane assembly, but that you could use it for other functions if you so desire. Another truck is the Voron D-53233, again, based on another real-life truck, and this one's another interesting one because it's a all-wheel drive, always-on, diff lock, always-on, like, off-road roll truck, but it's not quite a heavy, so I think this is going to be more along the lines of something you would use to do some light to medium hauling in some areas with really difficult terrain. This is probably one of those trucks that we're going to end up seeing, you know, seeing people put big tires on and seeing people use as either a light to medium hauling vehicle or maybe even a heavier scout, depending on what your vehicle situation looks like in the map and scenario that you're playing in. And let's not forget the absolute monster that is the Pacific P12. Now, this is another heavy roll truck with the diff lock being always on and the all-wheel drive being switchable. So that's an interesting lineup of features, but honestly, the lineup of features means so much, at least when it comes to this truck, the lineup of features means so much less to me than just looking at what an absolute brute that truck looks like. That truck is one of the most imposing trucks I have ever seen, and I think that we ever will be seeing in any game, really. And I know that this truck was obviously already confirmed for the game, but they hadn't really done a proper presentation on it yet, and it was nice to know it was nice to get some of the specs clarified in terms of things like all-wheel drive and diff lock capability and also fuel capacity. Now let's also clear up a few things around the SnowRunner Season Pass. Now the Season Pass has caused a little bit of confusion in at least my comment section recently, and I've been seeing it sort of around the different SnowRunner communities across the internet, but most definitely I have seen it in my comment section causing some confusion. Now basically, if you purchase the premium edition of SnowRunner, you'll get the full game plus the Season Pass, whereas if you purchase the standard edition, you'll just get the standard game. So if you get the Season Pass, what the Season Pass gets you is obviously a couple of interesting skins, but the skins aren't really the number one concern, at least of mine, with the Season Pass. The main thing that it gets you is the 4 phases of new content to be released across the future of the game, which they say includes new trucks, new maps, new add-ons, and more. And then you have Phase 1, Search and Recover, Phase 2, Explore and Expand, Phase 3, Locate and Deliver, and then Phase 4, which is a new expansion that they have not announced the title of as of yet. That also includes the High Roll Pack, the Loaded Dice Vinyl Wrap, Scorched Vinyl Wrap, True Colors Vinyl Wrap, as well as the exclusive Sabretooth skin for the Dairy Longhorn 4520. And I don't know why I didn't say 4520, but as it was in my mind is how it came out, and you know what? I'm gonna leave it because sometimes we can't English, and sometimes neither can I. Now it's time to switch our focus and talk about something that we talked about in the previous SnowRunner update video, which is modding. Now, this is a screenshot from a whole host of screenshots that were posted on the mod page for this minigun buggy mod on mod.io, and obviously these screenshots are in a different language, but you can draw from them what you will, and I've seen some people that have seen these screenshots, making comments about the graphics and being like, well, I don't know how I like those graphics. I don't know if I'm a fan of how they look. Let's not forget that we don't know what settings the guy that was playing the game had when he took these. So I feel like it's really impossible to make judgments about the visuals of the game until we see some raw, ultra quality footage. So with the game on all ultra settings in 4K, that's the only way you're going to be able to really make a judgment on what the game looks like and whether or not you like how the game looks before getting your hands on it. So I strongly caution you guys in terms of making judgments about the game's visuals based on these screenshots. This next screenshot here, for example, as we look at the vehicle, it basically looks like it's got no textures on it. So when I look at that, I'm like, you were still, it's like, okay, so he was still obviously working on this mod when he took this picture, but I think also you have to look at it in such a way that basically, you see like the name of the map and sort of like, the actual basically the actual name of the map, not the in-game name, but like more like the file name of the map down there at the bottom of the screen. And honestly, the reasoning for the graphics looking the way they do could also be because of the fact that this may be a pre-release build and not the build that just went gold. So we also have to consider that when we're making our own personal judgments about how this game looks. Because I know that there are some people out there that have still not quite made their decision about whether or not they're going to get SnowRunner. And I know that there are a lot of people that have already pre-ordered it. There are a lot of people that are very gung-ho about getting it. And there are some other people that are still a little bit on the fence. And whether that's from a gameplay standpoint or a graphical standpoint or a mod support standpoint, I think that'll all get resolved as we get closer to release. One thing that I do want to note here before we wrap up the video is that in this shot, I really like how, A, how the sky looks, and B, how the headlights look, because I think neither one is necessarily super overpowered, because obviously the sun's not completely up or down yet. It's kind of, you're kind of in this in-between part of the day. So you have low light, it's not completely dark out, but you have low light, you're dealing with a low light scenario, and I think visually, the low-light scenarios look good. I don't think they look overly dark, but I also don't think they look overly bright. And main thing there is I don't think the sky looks overly gloomy. It doesn't look overly cloudy. I mean, yeah, it's cloudy, but it's not like just, crazy thick, dark gray clouds filling the entire sky all the time, so it looks a lot more natural. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me, is that they've made the sky look a lot more natural, and that's why I always resorted to graphics mods back in MudRunner after some good friends of mine in the modding community showed me some graphics mods, and I was like, yes, I need that because I'm tired of the way the sky looks. And as we look at this shot here as well, it looks pretty apparent, at least to me, that whoever was playing when these screenshots were taken had their graphics settings potentially dialed back a little bit, because honestly, the draw distance doesn't look incredible, and it looks like they may also have their tree detail turned down a little bit. So it looks like we can't use these screenshots as a way to judge what the final graphics for the game are going to look like. I think what we see in the trailers that were taken in engine are a much more reliable representation of what the game's visuals are going to look like. And again, I strongly caution you guys against going off of those screenshots as like, oh, this is what the game's going to look like, because again, we don't know what system those were taken on, and we also don't know what graphics settings were used, and we also don't know what build of the game that was. So to wrap up here, I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I also would like you guys to let me know in the comments down below what you are most looking forward to, and not just what you're most looking forward to, but what your favorite topic that we covered in this video was. And also, if there's anything else you guys would like me to cover and dig into about SnowRunner, I can do my best. I can't necessarily fulfill every single request, but I can do my absolute best to dig for whatever information you guys are looking for in terms of SnowRunner. So, hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, make sure to click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay as up to date with SnowRunner as possible. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later.